This video, it's not really like my normal Minecraft videos, so if you just want to watch me playing Minecraft, I'm not really going to be doing that. I'm going to be playing around with some of the weird commands in ffmpeg. So, I'm going to be doing some things, you'll see. So, one of the most obvious things you can do is to just lower down I'm not really very good at typing and talking at the same time. One of the most obvious things is to just lower down the resolution. And then you can set the resolution like this. So, by 200. And this should work. Well, it shouldn't take too long. This is only around 4,000 frames or so. And while it's going, I'll show you the first initial video clip. I just make a video clip of Minecraft. It doesn't have any audio. It's just it's in 4,800 bitrate. Of resolution by 1680 by 1050. Okay, well this one is done now, and what if I try running it at a better resolution? Even at this resolution, it doesn't look good. You have to lower the resolution like all the way down for this for it to look to the original quality. But that's not nearly really bad enough. I can easily set this to, let's say, what was this at? Yeah, let's try, oh, oops, I pressed my record hotkey. Let's try, say, 80 by, 80 by 50. It shouldn't take too long. It's nearly done already now. Even at this resolution, it doesn't really look watchable, so this is the minimum Windows player will go to. See, that looks pretty bad, but that's not nearly the worst I can do. There's also something else I can do where I lower the bitrate. In case you don't know what bitrate is, it sort of tells the video how many pixels it gets, like how much data it gets dedicated to telling the video how much each pixel changes by each frame. So I'll show you what that is. Okay, so now I'm going to try limiting the bitrate, and essentially what limiting the bitrate does is it just makes it so that it tells it how many pixels get to change each frame. So by doing adding the flag -b:\v, you can adjust the bitrate. So I'm going to try setting it to only 800 kilobits, and then okay. Well, oops, I made it be an MOV file. Okay, well, making it be an MOV file won't really change anything at all. MOV files are very similar to MP4 files. And it should finish soon. So as you can see, and also the lower the resolution, the less bitrate you really need to make it still look good. This one here. So yeah, this one is 4,800 bitrate at 60 frames a second. And this one, it's almost done. And it's finished now, so if you go to the output, as you can see in the details category, it is much lower bitrate. Now, the advantage of lowering your bitrate is it significantly reduces the file size. See, this one is only like 6 megabytes, while my original video clip was, I think, 34 megabytes. So it significantly reduces the amount of video, the file size, and it looks fine still. As you can see, it still looks mostly fine, but as soon as I start moving around, it starts to get some artifacting and stuff. And overall, the viewing experience is just not quite as good. But this is not nearly the lowest bitrate I can set it to. And also, as soon as there's any like very detailed stuff, like my F3 menu gets really messed up. But that's not nearly the lowest bitrate I can set it to. I'm gonna try it at 400 bitrate now. Oops, no, I don't, alright. And it should be finished encoding soon. I don't have a graphics card and it encodes really slowly, but that doesn't really matter. Okay, so when I go into the properties category, it should be done now. See, it has even less file size, and it also has even less bitrate. It only has about 400. It's still 60 FPS though. Keep in mind, if you lower it to 30 FPS, you can get a significantly better looking video at the same bitrate. When you watch it, yeah, it's not really looking that good now. See, as you can see, it still looks fine until I start moving around my camera. When I start moving around my camera, I get a lot of artifacting, especially up in the sky. And yeah, it's not really watchable. We still didn't drop any frames on this though. See, look, the whole thing is still encoded properly. Yeah, see, it's still encoded fully properly, but yeah, that's not nearly the worst quality. If I try setting it, 275. If I set it to something like 275, as you can see, it's still not dropping any frames, so it still should look sort of watchable. And soon it should be done encoding the video here. Okay, and it finished. And in the details. So you can't really get much lower bitrate using ffmpeg unless you force the bitrate lower. But it still should give some pretty interesting results. See, this is barely any movement and it's completely destroyed. Yeah, it's not real. It's a bit worse than last time. Actually, once I get through to this scene, yeah, it becomes significantly worse, even though I've only lowered down the bitrate a bit. But yeah, there's another tag I can add. I'll have to look it up on the website, but there's another tag I can add that forces the bitrate down lower. So I'll show you that in just a second. And yeah, I found the command off of the website. And I'm not really sure what this dash buff size thing does, but as long as you set it somewhere near the bitrate and the maximum bitrate, it should be fine. Oops, no, I just copied the command and I forgot to adjust it. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna drop some frames. I don't know what this, I don't know so this means that I'm dropping some of the frames off, and it's not really a good thing to have happen, but you'll see what it looks like when this thing happens as soon as the video is finished. So yeah, when that happens, it makes it look not really very watchable anymore, because the screen, it doesn't really have much data when this happens. And it's almost done. Okay, yes. And I've managed to get the bitrate down significantly. It's only around 150 this time. And yeah, even though nothing's really moving, it still is not really watchable. And it's fine. And yeah, when the screen turns gray, I'm not exactly sure why that happens, but it seems to be because of this this VBV underflow thingy. Seems to be because of that. And there is, however, another way to make the video look worse, and that is by lowering the frame rate. So yeah, I'll do that now. Okay, so in ffmpeg, I ran this command here, and I set the FPS to 20. And as you can see, the FPS is only 20. And so 20 FPS naturally is going to make it look not nearly as good as it did before. And it still looks sort of semi-fine until, see, it's, as you can see, it doesn't look quite as nice. But yeah, that's not really very hard. I can make it look much less nice. And this really shouldn't take too long for it to encode this time. Even though the frame isn't very high, it has much less frames. And it's nearly gotten through the entire clip now. It's a 60-second clip. And, okay, so if you look at the details, 10 frames per second now. And even just in this menu here, you can still tell it's not really the best viewing experience. Yes, see, it's only 10 FPS, and so it doesn't look the best. And now let's try setting it to, say, 8 FPS, but to also have a low bit rate as well. So this output 9 clip here, it has only 400 kilobits a second and 7 frames per second. But because the frame rate is lower, I can easily get away with having a much lower resolution. I mean, a much lower frame rate. And see, it doesn't look really quite that bad. And set the frame rate to like 5. And this even on my slow computer, it shouldn't really take that long to encode. The details, it's around 200 kilobits a second at 5 frames per second. And yeah, I can still get away with a low bit rate because it's like that. I can still get away with a sort of low bit rate just because it's only at 5 frames per second. But at 100 bit rate, it still should look bad enough. Oh wow, it finished already. That's pretty impressive. And this is an insanely low file size now. Remember, the original clip was like 34 megabytes. This one is much worse. And there's some pretty strange artifacting going on, but that's fine. And it looks just awful. It looks like there's some sort of screen tearing going on, but there really isn't. And when I open my F3 menu, it's not really watchable. But now the only step left is to combine all of them with a low resolution, a low bit rate, and even a low, whatever the other one is. Okay, so I have created, I think, the worst possible video clip. I mean, on the bright side though, like, at least look at that file size. Like, I'm pretty sure most of that is just the thumbnail. Like, imagine if videos like normally could be this file size. This is an insane file size. That's like less than, that's an insanely, but okay. It has a resolution of 160 by 100, frame rate of 5, and a bit rate of input 7. I have never seen a video that the quality is this bad. I have never seen a video that's, I mean, on the bright side though, the file size is still pretty insane. But I don't think it's worth doing that because the watching experience, like just the viewing experience, it's not, I think I have my F3 menu open here and you just can't even tell. Like the viewing experience at this point is just too bad, but it's still a minute-long video. That is pretty insane though. Yeah, well, I think that just about wraps it up for me for now, and